Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this triple flap fun fold. I did one recently where an element at the side held the three pieces together, but this is more like a double gatefold ZZ full panel front. It is so cool, and even more cool is the fact that it uses the little bit of Festive pack. This is a really eclectic pack. It comes with designer series papers and it comes with all these cutouts, but more exciting than that, it comes with two sheets, let me just bring them in, of all these punch outs, and they've all got gold elements on them. They're just so cool. So there's one of each of all these patterns in the pack. So the designer series paper I was able to use, but we will be using a different little punch out for the front because I've already used this one, but the concept is the same. So let me set that off to one side and bring in the ingredients that we're going to need. So the base of it, the back of it, the main body part of it is a quarter sheet of cardstock, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Standard size, fits in an envelope. We're comfortable with that and we know it. So this is a piece of garden green, and it's 5 1/2 by 11, and it's scored at 1 3/4 and 3 1/2 at both sides. So rather than work out what they are, I did 1 3/4 and 3 1/2, flipped it over and did 1 3/4 and 3 1/2. So let's just gatefold those while we're busy. So usual method, it folds back on itself. However, you will see once this fold reveals it, it doesn't meet in the middle, but it doesn't matter because all the panels hide that fact. So this is the gatefold part. Here is the main body. There's also a piece that goes on the inside, and this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. It's always just a descending 1/4 of an inch smaller. And what I'm going to do is there are two pieces of stamping, so I'm going to do both of those first before we commit anything to being stuck down. So I'm using the Peaceful Seasons, and it's the greeting. It says wishing you and yours, and then inside it will say a season of wonder and happiness. I'm going to be using the real red because it coordinates with the real red cardstock, of course. So let's do the inside one first. A season of wonder and happiness. So that's that. And then the other part is the front, actually, which just says wishing you and yours. Oops. So let's not throw it on the floor, Alyson. You see, I've just caught that on my ink pad, but it will be all right because it's going up against real red. Wishing you and yours. And just make sure that that can go on, and as you'll see, the stocking will very conveniently obscure that. So despite me having an afternoon of throwing things around, we are all right. So that's the stamping done. So now to the assembling. There are 3 pieces of garden green. These are the 3 strips that meet across the middle, and they are 4 by 1 3/4 because the layered down size is 5 1/4. So, and 3 times 1 3/4 for the math geniuses amongst us who didn't have to write it down on a piece of paper and just be extra sure, makes 5 1/4. And then the designer series paper is 3 3/4 by 1 1/2. But what I did was, to try and keep a sense of continuity, I cut them in order. So I want to keep that going and get those stuck on. As always, of course, all the directions and dimensions will be on my blog. So despite what I say, you can always go there and get the true version of what it should be. So those are the 3 panels for the front. Now the piece They're the ZZ foldy parts. This piece is really quite dependent on what you're putting on the front. You could put a small one, you could put a big one. For me, this was 4 by 2 5/8, and the white piece was 3 3/4 by 2 3/8. Again, it was just a descending quarter piece smaller. But it's really, see what you want to put on the front and then cut the piece to match whatever it is you're doing, rather than trying to make whatever it is you're doing fit onto that size. Because like I say, if you're actually going to use a little bit of festive, you only get one of each thing, so that's why this one is a little bit different. So let me go ahead and get these stuck on. Now the trick is you need the top and the bottom on one side, and the middle needs to be on the opposite side. So we'll do it ZZ fold style. So using the one at the top, we'll line it up so we know not to put adhesive beyond that, so you don't stick your card down. And we will line it up evenly across the top of the card because it fills the whole space. And then we've stuck that to the left, so the next one coming down, we are going to stick it to the right. So again, using our ZZ fold technique, we'll just make sure that the adhesive only goes on the right hand side. And then last but not least, at the bottom, we will go ahead and put it again on the same side as the top. Like I say, it doesn't matter whether it's the left or the right, as long as the middle one is on the opposite side. So we'll just put that up against there, and look at that, mathematically it actually fitted. Ta-da! So now we've got 2 on one side, 1 on the other. I'm just going to give these a little extra crease with the bone folder because it's cardstock and it's a little bit chunky. And then what we'll do is we will attach this to the quarter sheet of real red, and put that evenly on the backing, and then we can open it and put the inside on because we've already stamped it, so we don't have to worry about putting it in the middle. There's times when it can't be helped, but if it can be helped, oops, my recommendation would be to not do that and stamp it first before you put it on the inside. A little bit of sticky. So we'll just give that a nice even border around. And now the way that it gets attached is the middle piece is only going to, the piece in the front, in the middle, is only going to get attached to the middle panel. And we're going to do that with dimensionals. So again, we'll sort of ZZ fold technique it. So if we fold it over, we can see where the splits are in the 3 pieces. And we'll bring in dimensionals. And we're only going to put them within that panel. So you can see they are not beyond. Pop that off to one side. Peel the backing papers off and then press this down. And if we line it back up into the middle, we know that the dimensionals are only going to be on that piece, and then they can clear behind this center piece. And then the last step is to attach the stocking. So we know we don't want to put adhesive here where it hangs a little bit off and at the bottom, but we can more or less put it everywhere else. So we can just stick it like that, and there you have it. So it's got the center panel inside, and the tuck in because the dimensionals help it clear where it needs to be. So there you have it, two almost the same but slightly different, because like I say, you only get one each of these, but it's just such a fabulous kit. It really is. I bought extras, so I could have made two, but I'd already used these pieces already because they were exciting. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you in advance for that. If you have a question or a comment, pop those in the description box below and I will get back to everyone. Like I say, the directions and dimensions will always be on my blog for this and any other video that you've seen. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.